Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Dorothy. I'm a professional astrologer. You can find me on the web at nhastrologer.com, and there you can read the forecast for the month if you like. The full moon and new moon forecasts are there as well, and you can contact me for sessions if you like. The live link is right below this video. Okay. I want to talk to you Tauruses for the month of November. Now we start off November. The first significant thing I want to talk about is the Sun and Venus are conjunct in Scorpio. Now Venus, Taurus's ruling planet. You guys are all about, the sensual pleasures in life. Food, taste, your senses. It's romance, if that is something that's part of your life, romance and that sexual and sensual type of love. That's that Venus in Taurus, but it's in the sign of Scorpio. Opposite sign from Venus, conjunct the Sun. So they're working hand in hand. When planets are conjunct, they do not work independently. So the Sun expresses as the ego expression. It's in the sign of Scorpio. Venus is with it. So they are planning on how they can be very sexy, maybe a little naughty. Venus in Scorpio is not the lighter side of sexual pleasures, but some of the darker sides of it. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So this is what we get to start the month off with. Yoo-hoo! Gotta be careful of that one. But play with it, and you can also use that energy to really go in deep and see what kind of spiritual love you might have with somebody, or really dig into past life information with somebody, because that Scorpio energy is all about digging in very, very deep and going into the underworld, so to speak, and figuring out very important things for ourselves. That eclipse on the 23rd of October certainly has triggered a lot of things for a lot of people, and the Sun is still in Scorpio, so it is still working its way through our transition this time of year. Next thing that we have going on I want to talk about is November 4th and 5th. Now, the moon is in the sign of Aries. Now, when the moon is in that sign, it's going to trigger all of those cardinal points we've been talking about all year long. Us astrologers always have these hot topics going on. And when the moon moves into Aries every single month, all of these cardinal points get triggered within a 2-day period. So that's November 4th and 5th. All of this is as the moon is culminating, as the moon is coming into being full in your sign of Taurus. So what goes on is that, we're going to start feeling really emotional about certain things. Depends on how you react to what your moon sign truly is. But when the moon is moving through there, out there in the solar system where we can see it, it is in the sign of Aries, and it wants us to react and have emotions and really get them out in the plate. It's all about initiating action, initiating these emotions. And if we don't do it in a healthy way, then the squares and the conjunctions that it makes to Mars, Pluto, and Uranus is all about, causing some trouble. Or we can open up a can of worms, but we can open up a subject too that needs to be opened up and needs to be discussed very, very intensely, very deeply. Our emotions will crack that egg open. All right, and this is true for everybody. I don't care who you are, who's watching. This is true for everybody. Now, on November 11th, that full moon in the sign of Taurus is going to highlight your sign. Oof, this is right on my ascendant. I just noticed. Oh, joy. So with that, it's on my ascendant. And so what I would have to be looking at is many different things. I want you to focus on what your values are, your morals. Look at what your morals are. What do you value now? We've all, over the last couple of weeks since that eclipse on the 23rd, have gone through a lot of shifts and changes over the last few weeks, even the few months in the last year especially. But what are we incorporating into our lives now? What have we brought in? And there's no room for it. I want you to work this energy out. Work out what isn't working for you anymore. This moon in Taurus and Venus in Scorpio, all of these energies, especially for you who are Taurus, or Taurus rising, it is asking us to truly identify what's important for us, which means what isn't working. I've been made very clear lately of a few things that are not working for me. And I want you to sit down, and if you're not clear, you're not paying attention. This Scorpio energy that's been present for a while is really very, it's very obvious and in our face as to what is not working and what needs to change. So let's take advantage of that full moon in Taurus on November 6th. All right. Next, on November 8th, boy, the early part of November is pretty active, actually, isn't it? Mercury has been moving direct for a little while now, and it is moving into the sign of Scorpio. That means on November 8th, Mercury is at the 0 degree of Scorpio, where the eclipse was on October 23rd. Again, we get another trigger, another release, another opportunity to work through something that is very, very deep. Another opportunity to have a conversation with somebody about a subject that feels serious to you. So I want you to consider that and work with that energy. So for a couple of days around the time of November 8th, when Mercury is in the early degrees of Scorpio, decide, work and see what it is that you need to kind of have a conversation about and work out. Now, some people can't have conversations because there's just not possible. We all know that can't happen sometimes. So just write it down. Write it down and then just destroy the paper. If you feel like you want to mail it, you go ahead and mail it. But just at least getting it out of you in words, whether it's vocal or written, and write, handwrite. That's the process that has to happen. And get these things out. Burn it if you must. Whatever you choose to do. All right, next I'm going to move on. I'm just looking at my notes, so forgive me for looking down. On November 10th and 11th, Mars and Pluto are conjunct in Capricorn. That can be intense energy, but it's also kind of nice because, you know, Mars in Capricorn will really help us to be a little more logical in the actions that we're taking. And if it's with Pluto, Pluto owns Scorpio as a natural ruler of Scorpio, and Mars is the co-ruler of Scorpio. So this means we could really get to the bottom of something that's very, very important for us. And it's in that Scorpio energy. So if you need to know more, you know where to find me for a personal session, because there's always more, always, always more. And then what we have is we have the Leo moon at the end of that week. So right around November 15th and 16th, we have the Leo moon making a square to all of the Scorpio energy that I've just been mentioning. And it's making a square to the Taurus energy as well. Why? Those are all fixed signs. That means we're going to be rather stubborn. If you haven't worked something out by the time the end of November, the end of this week, November 15th comes around, there's something that's really harping on you and you haven't worked it out. The Leo moon requires drama, and if you haven't taken your emotions and used them in a very active way to make something shift and change in your life, then somebody might come at you and with just so much drama that you're not even interested, or it just sets you off and you have to deal with something. All right? I know that doesn't sound very pleasant, does it? So do your own work. Work at the things that you need to work at, because you just do things and you just take a deep breath and then you exhale and then you go do something that needs to be done, and on we move. Feels so much better, because if we do our own work, then the universe doesn't have to send people at us. I know, I don't like that either. That's tough stuff sometimes. I'd rather do my own work because I'm at least a little more in control, I think. I think. Who knows, really, right? All right. Let's move on to the new moon. The new moon on November 22nd, 11/22. How cool is that? That's neat for numerology. I know that much. And it's at 0 degrees of Sagittarius. That is so close to Scorpio. It's only a minute or two. It's only a couple of minutes into the sign of Sag. That means it's the cusp. And that also means that we're still pulling a lot of Scorpio energy in, because the Sagittarius hasn't even hardly had a minute to breathe into the sign of Sag. But let's take those transitions and changes, bring them into this new moon on November 22nd, and have some fun. Explore, explore, explore. That is some of the things that are so important to do with that Sagittarius new moon. Just like children, when you play, you learn. And that is what Sagittariuses are. They're adult children. And that is nothing wrong with that, because you guys are always teaching me how not to be so serious, because I work too hard, I think. And no, I know, everybody tells me that people want to have fun, and I'm like, I'm busy, I'm working. It's like, oh, don't do that. So let's say, yeah, let's have some fun. You Sages, you will go to work. Work's not always your favorite thing unless you're doing what you love. You work, earn your money, and then you go play. That's why you earn money, so you can go play. If you don't have enough time to play, you're cranky. Make sure you find enough time to play. And I'm saying that to Sagittarius, but what I'm saying that is, I'm saying that to everybody. I should listen to my own words, so I need to find time to play. Anyways, I enjoy doing this. This isn't bad. So, learning through play, having fun, expanding your horizons, traveling is a major thing that we can do with that Sagittarius energy if it's something that you like to do. So, work with that. And that new moon for you will be in, let me look, your 8th house for you who are Taurus. So with that new moon in your 8th house, it is all, again, it's more Scorpio energy than Sag at this point, but it's all about transitioning and maybe just having fun to exploring new ways to earn money, because 8th house is a money house as well. So learning and exploring some new possibilities for yourself, because Sag definitely likes its independence. All right, on November 25th, the day before Thanksgiving, Moon and Pluto are conjunct. That's a little bit of an intense emotional day, but not too bad, only for a couple of hours. So if you're emotional about something, focus that in on some work or a project that you're doing, and you'll accomplish a fair amount with that. And then we also have Mercury and Saturn in a conjunction on that day as well, the day before Thanksgiving. So plan your travels well if you're going somewhere for a family gathering for Thanksgiving, a holiday here in the United States. On Thanksgiving, I'm going to end with this. On Thanksgiving, the moon's in Aquarius. This is just about being unique, being fun. The moon in an analytical air sign like Aquarius, on a day that family gathers together. You can reminisce, you can talk about old issues. Oh, we don't want old issues to come up, but if they do, you're going to have it all in your head, because that analytical Aquarius moon takes these ideas or takes thoughts and it will analyze them until there's a solution. And so there may be some great opportunities here at Thanksgiving Day and for you to solve some old family problems too. But if not, and you don't want to deal with that stuff, make Thanksgiving something that's a little untraditional. All right? That's a fabulous way to use that Aquarius moon during Thanksgiving. So I'm going to leave you with that. Please contact me at nhastrologer.com. Once again, the live link should be right below this video. And I love your comments and questions. Come find me there. Thank you very much. And blessed be. Namaste.